We're super professional. Welcome to LoddenPod! This is our very first episode, and it's just going to be a short introduction so that you know who we are.
And what this is, it's more like a prologue to the first episode.
This is going to be a friendly little podcast about knitting. We're going to have video format, as you can tell.
And sound, if you're listening to this on sound. So it will be published both on YouTube and on a podcast of your choice. We'll figure out the RSS feed. My name is Miriam.
My name is Frida.
And we're two Norwegian girls who decided to do an English podcast, because that makes sense.
It does make sense, though.
It does, like...
We, so I lived in the States when I was a child. You
lived in the States when I was older. I'm also married to a guy from the States, so I practice my English a lot. I sound incredibly American when I speak English. I'm aware.
And also, when we're together and when we got the idea, we usually speak American.
Yeah, we speak English. And the reason why that started was because we were hanging out with both our significant others. And mine, he doesn't speak Norwegian super well, so he feels more comfortable speaking English. So it's just natural that we were all speaking English. And that kind of just translated into our friendship. It's a little bizarre at times, but it works for us.
We also want to make sure that anyone can watch. So it's not just for the Norwegian-speaking viewers.
Yeah, and since we're both so comfortable with English, it's easy for us to understand. We totally understand if other people who do podcasts who don't feel as comfortable speaking English, they prefer to do it in whatever their native tongue is. That makes so much sense. But we're both fluent, so we thought, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to send us a question or anything, feel free to do it in any Scandinavian or English.
Yeah. Because we can read Swedish and Danish just fine.
Yes.
This is a friendly podcast about knitting. I don't know if we're gonna do much crocheting. It's probably gonna be primarily knitting.
We might dabble.
Yeah.
I know I have a few projects that will be crochet, but we're more knitters than crocheters.
Yeah, but any
fiber art.
Yeah,
basically.
And also, if you're out there watching, feel free to watch, even if you don't knit.
Yeah.
It's a friendly space.
And also that brings us a bit to why we called it LoddenPod. For all Norwegian and maybe Scandinavian listeners and viewers, they know what Lodden means, but non-Scandinavian speakers might not know. It's not quite fluffy.
It's not quite fuzzy.
But it's somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's a descriptive word to describe something that is fluffy and fuzzy
and warm, and cozy
and kind of cute. Like a kitten can be Lodden.
But you also have a lot of Lodden yarn, wool, and so we want it to be very calm and cozy and woolly.
Maybe a little fuzzy.
And maybe a little fuzzy. And there you got it, Lodden. And then pod is just a short version of podcast.
But yeah, hopefully most people already know that.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, we're really happy to inform you of it.
Yep.
Sometimes people don't know stuff. Yeah. So the more full length format of what we're going to be doing is going to be coming up shortly. We're filming it next week because I have to go away. We have to. I'm going on vacation. Twisted.
No.
My arm has been twisted. I have to go and meet my good friend. I feel so horrible about it.
But yeah, we wanted to get this up because some of you might have seen that we already started our Instagram account. We will be using that alongside the podcast for all of you listening. So if we're talking about a pattern, we'll make sure that we have a post for each episode where you have photos of all the patterns, maybe the yarns,
whatever we're working on, anything that requires like, oh, I wish I could see that when you're listening to something, there will be a specific post for that episode with like a carousel of photos for that episode. So it'll be really easy for all of the people who are just listening to the sound of this to go onto the Instagram and look at that. So you don't have to like pull up the YouTube if you don't want that.
And we'll also do progress photos maybe. If we're going to a special event, we'll maybe post some there. We're planning on doing some Instagram TV, I think.
Yes, we're gonna put different content on the IGTV just because there's no point of like doing dual content, but we'll put like outtakes or little snippets or things like that on the IGTV. If we get like a lot of questions, how did you do this? Maybe we'll put like a little tutorial thing.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Some of you might have seen that we have a post on Instagram already. It's a cowl. So we're doing a Delacour cowl. The Delacour cardigan is a design by Helena Arnesen or Fabel Knitwear.
Go check her out.
She's we're quite fans of hers, you might say.
A little bit. Also, just like insert, because this was something I learned last week. Cal is short for knit along.
Yes.
I didn't know that. And people were talking about cals, and I was like, why is it called a cal? I don't understand. So, it's for people who are like me.
It's a knit along, yeah. In that post, we said that the knit along would run until the end of August. However, we've both had what I would like to call sleeve denial, in which sleeves no longer need to be knitted.
They appear. I mean, I think I have had knit like existence in general denial.
Yeah, basically
too many things.
What we're trying to say is we're not going to make it until the end of August. And also because we didn't manage to post this video until later on in the month, we think we're gonna, or we know that we're gonna extend the cal until the end of September. So if any of you want to join, you have time to do so. We can't promise any big prizes, but there might be just a small little attention, as we call it in Norwegian. Just like a little bit of like, yeah, you did good.
Ooh, look at that. Yeah. And the pattern, you can find it on Ravelry, on Helena Arnesen's page there, on Fabel Knitwear. She also sells her patterns via Etsy, if you want to do that. On Instagram, we'll have a pinned story with a post that goes to Helena's Instagram page, and you can easily find links from her to where you can find the patterns on Instagram. And on YouTube, obviously, it'll be down below. But yeah, and also for those who don't know, Delacour is obviously after Fleur Delacour from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
This might be a reoccurring theme. We're huge Harry Potter nerds.
Yeah. Do you want to show your present?
Oh my god! Okay, so this is filmed on my birthday.
It is.
I'm so excited. And Frida got me. I'm so cute. Okay, so she got me some stitch markers. I say that like she made me some stitch markers, and they're so pretty. So I got this pretty jade one. That's because I'm a Slytherin. And then I also got this pretty Slytherin one. Again, Slytherin over here. And then, I have to say this was my favorite one, even though it's not a Slytherin one. She also made me this, which is a little
lean over it and do it?
It's a little golden snitch. My brain is not working.
I mean, Stitch is Lodden, so it would work. Maybe we should make a Stitch one as well. Oh, and also Stitch. It's a Stitch marker.
It's a golden Stitch marker.
I should make a Stitch.
So yeah, so that was my birthday present. I got some. She gave me some. I mean, she also gave me some yarn. Who could be mad about that?
Yeah. Before we leave you, we thought that maybe we would include some knitting into this knitting podcast, even though it's an introductory episode.
A revolutionary idea that we have knitting on a knitting podcast.
Who would have thought of this? Geniuses.
We barely did, so.
The first thing I think I will show you is the Delacour cardigan, for the Delacour cal. So, if I can
You've gotten, like, it almost looks like it could be finished tomorrow. Not quite, but, you know.
Yeah. After dealing with the sleeve denial for quite a while, I managed to get my shit together and actually finish a sleeve. So
I'm still in sleeve denial land.
Yeah, it's fine. So I have one here, and the body here, it's a cropped cardigan, so it's going to be quite short. That's why it looks like it's for a child. It will also stretch quite a while.
Yeah, also if you're wondering what this looks like, even if you're not interested in participating in the Cal or you don't have time right now or the resources, go and check out Helena's photos of how this looks because it's so pretty. I saw it
and all her, yeah.
Look, just go and follow her. If you're not like, what are you doing? Go and follow her. Like everything she makes is gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
This is also, both yours and mine is made with her yarn.
Yeah.
She also dyes yarn.
So mine is knit in her Athena base, which has a bit of gold stellina in it. So it's a bit like, you might see, it's a bit shimmery because it has some glitter. And it's in the color Duskwood. And I absolutely love it so much. It's to the point where every time I pick up or see my knitting things, I have to like take a moment to say, just, I love this so much. So I can't wait till it's done.
So I'm also obviously knitting the Delacour sweater. Cardigan. I call cardigan sweaters as well, which I know is really bad for like knitting where you have to be precise about it. I'm also knitting the Delacour cardigan. I'm knitting it, this is how far I've gotten.
It's so pretty, that color.
It's really color. So I'm knitting it on the Helena's Garn as well. I'm using the Willow base and the color is Aura. I don't know how well it's picking up on camera because it's really subtle in real life as well, but it's this pale blue color.
Semi-solid.
With like white-ish, like paler blue interspersed between it. I'm in love with it. And when I saw it, I instantly thought of Fleur Delacour, so that's why I picked it for the Delacour cardigan. And the reason I will give for having gotten this shortly on it, besides knitting 2 other things at the same time, 3 other things at the same time, is that I'm knitting this on a very large part of the pattern, but with thinner needles to get a tighter gauge. You do not need to do this. Like if you follow her recipe and you have an average, like you knit the test patch and it's the same, the gauge will be fine. The yarn will look nice and tight. I'm just a weird perfectionist and I got this idea in my head based on something that Frida did.
Because I did the exact same. I knit the same yarn with that needle and you like the feel and look of that. Yeah.
So Frida did exactly the same thing with a different color of the yarn but with the same size needles, and I thought it was so pretty that I wanted to do that with specifically with this cardigan.
But you can look, so this is the same weight of yarn, so it's both fingering weights.
Yeah.
This is knit on a number 4 while yours is knit on a 3.5.
Yeah. And then the ribbing, if I was gonna do it like a complete the same, I would have done it on a 3, but the ribbing is actually done on a 2.5.
Yeah.
Because I'm a crazy person, I don't know. I got the idea in my head and then it got stuck, so I'm just following through with it. So that's one of the things I'm currently working on. Another thing that we're both also currently working on is a test knit for Helena.
She will come up a lot in this podcast, at least now in the beginning, because we're all like we have like, okay, so I don't know how you are about this actually, but because I've recently gotten back into knitting. I used to knit a lot and then I stopped and now I've recently gotten back into it. And I also happen to live really close to one of the most amazing yarn shops here in Oslo called Værbitt, and I've been hanging out there. And so I've just like fallen in love with all of the yarn. I refuse to start becoming a yarn collector. This is nothing against people who are yarn collectors,
because you obviously get a lot of love out of your collection. I just know for me, it would create nothing but stress. And so I am refusing to go down there. So I'm not allowing myself to buy any yarn unless I specifically have a project for it. Because that way, if I get stressed that I have too much yarn, I can just knit the project and I don't have to worry about it. So I have, if we look behind us here in the shelves back here, this lower one, I'm not sure if I'm pointing correctly because I can't see the viewfinder. A bunch of Helena's yarn. That's for a bunch of Helena's patterns. So at least this fall, I think it's fair to say she's going to be coming up a lot.
Yeah.
Because
and it's not because we don't love anybody else's, but we've just we need to get it out of our system a little bit, I think.
Yeah, we're in a groove with her stuff.
Yeah.
And she is also a Harry Potter fan, and so
yeah,
it's just jealous.
And I have to say her patterns are written extremely well. They're easy to follow. They are great for different sizes from what I've seen so far. We can also link her latest podcast episode where she does actually talk about this.
Yeah, because she also does a podcast, so you can go and check her out. But yeah, but we're doing a test knit for her. That also has to be finished by the end of August, which is also another reason why we're moving the cal along, because we have to prioritize this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is her so it's gonna be, she likes to do things in collections. So this is gonna be part of a collection, and this is the Diagon Alley.
So I've gotten this far. And this is really just because I wanted to see what this looked like, because I'm knitting it on,
this is Bonnie DK and Forbidden Forest, which is also colored by Helena.
Yeah.
So this is what I wanted to do. When I first
love with this yarn.
Yes. So when I first saw it, I needed it in my life, but I couldn't get it at that time. And then when I first heard about the Diagon Alley jumper, this was the first thing that jumped to my mind. However, when it was released, I couldn't afford, I didn't have enough money to buy it. So that's fine, don't spend money you don't have.
This is a hobby, so it should come after everything else.
And so this is my original idea, but I couldn't do it. And then when I see this, I'm so sad that I can't do it, so I will have to do another one with this yarn. To me, this looks a little bit like Flue powder.
She's not wrong.
Traveling to Diagon Alley using Flue powder, and I need it.
Yeah. So I'm knitting it with this Bonnie DK, and because I've basically been surrounded with non-superwash treated yarn for months now, I've gotten a little used to not feeling that. So when I felt this, I was a little I don't know if I like the feel, because this is, I think, 2 threads of superwash.
I'm not completely sure.
I don't remember if it's 100% or 50% superwash, but this has superwash in it. And I was feeling it and I was like, I don't know. I have the same reaction with the Delacour, but not in the same way. It's difficult to explain. So anyway, I thought I could introduce this. Now, this is 100% Norwegian linen. Really thin. Let's see if we can get it to show up. But it basically disappears into this. And the feel of this now,
it's lovely.
It's so nice.
So now that I've seen and felt this, when I make my second jumper, which will be in this Forbidden Forest, I'm gonna completely take that idea and do the same.
And I think I'm gonna be able to do the entire sweater with this.
The one spool?
The one spool. I don't think I'm gonna have to buy more. But if I have to buy more, then you can have the rest of it, and then you...
Yay.
Yeah, because mine will be bigger, because I'm bigger than she is, so she probably won't need as much.
Yeah, and with these patterns that we both knit, we will try to do some photo shoots together, just so we can show how the patterns can work for different styles, because I have a lot more vintage style. I'm very influenced by the 40s, while you have a more contemporary style.
Yeah, I like my dream style is like minimalistic, but like also a little sporty.
Yeah, a little pop of color and...
Yeah, so we are, like, it's kind of interesting because stylistically we're really different, but we have a lot of the same tastes. And so I think we'll definitely be doing some kind of photo shoots, and we'll put this on Instagram, obviously, where we style the same kind of pieces. We can't promise that they'll come right when we finish a project.
No.
Like, we don't know when that's going to happen. But that's definitely something we want to do on Instagram, is to take the same knitted thing and then style it differently.
Yeah, and then we also want to show how the same pattern works for different body shapes and sizes. Because we're not the same shape and we're not the same size, but what we've seen so far looks good on both.
And also a problem that I often have as a knitter is that a lot of things do look really vintagey or a little like home cozy-y, and that isn't my preferred thing. So I wanted to do things to inspire people who maybe have more a modern sensibility but do want to get into knitting, to show that you can actually like style things to look more modern if you want to, even if the styling for the pattern doesn't show that at all.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be a cool project, and we're going to try and do more of that as time goes by, because we get really inspired by these types of like prompts. And speaking of inspired, one of my projects, so this is also partly why I had the sleeve denial. So this is going to be a skirt. I haven't come that far yet. It's knit bottom up, and this is my own design based on a 40s skirt. And I was so inspired by how I wanted to style the Delacour cardigan and how I wanted it to be fairly like vintagey, and so I decided to knit this. And this color also really, really inspires me. Like, it reminds me of Delacour. Especially because I think what we talked about earlier is that I'm more attracted to the bit older Delacour. So it's more like toned down in colors, while your, like, at least color choice wise, is more of her, like, school uniform.
I really like I am not the biggest Harry Potter movie fan. I grew up with the books first, and the movies came very second to me, but I do really like the design for the Beauxbatons school. I don't remember if that's how you pronounce this, because I read them. I don't say it out loud.
But yeah, so it's really inspiring to do the prompts, to do these like knit-alongs and photo shoots, and yeah, I really like how we can like showcase how we can inspire each other, style things differently, show how things can work for different styles.
Hopefully inspire somebody out there. If anybody has any ideas, if that like, oh, it'd be really cool if they did this as an along, feel free to comment below. We have tons of ideas, and we're not like idea fishing, but like if you have anything, like feel free to comment. We'll probably be really active in the comment sections and stuff, because we're really excited about all of this.
Yeah. We'll see how short it turns out.
It gives you an idea. We like to talk, so this will be a very chatty podcast. Just letting you know now. So if that's not your thing, that's cool, but it's not going to be brief.
No.
Ever.
This is basically us just chatting as we normally would, but this time with
a camera and makeup.
Yeah.
Because we don't put on makeup for each other, it's not worth it. But for you, we'll totally put on makeup.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching or for listening, if that's what you did. I hope you have a wonderful day, and please come back next week or the week after, depending on when.
We will let you know what our publishing schedule is, and we'll find a publishing schedule and we'll stick to it, so you'll know when to expect an episode.
And if you would like to follow us on Instagram, we will post every time we have a new upload.
This will probably be up on YouTube before I have the RSS feed figured out. So for those of you out there who prefer to listen to podcasts versus watching them on YouTube, I got your back. I just have to
figure it out first.
Figure out how to do that. and it'll be a lot easier to just upload it on YouTube. So, we will figure it out, and we will have it figured out by the time the first full-length episode comes out.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yep. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Our knitting adventures continue.
Yes. And yeah, that's really all we have to say.
I hope that you want to join us on this knitting podcast. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Or listening.
And we'll see you. No, you'll see us. I don't know. How do you sign off on this thing?
Bye!